What's up, it's Phil from Fit World Exposed, and in this episode I want to talk about my favorite bicep exercise in existence, which is the strict curl. So in this episode I'm going to talk about the history of this competition lift, the rules and technique of this exercise, the benefits of this exercise, and more importantly, why you should be incorporating it in your routine as a bicep staple. So first things first, the strict curl exercise is the lift that you see in the photo of my thumbnail of this video. The way you do this exercise is basically by having 3 points of contact with the wall, which is the back of your head, your upper back, and your glutes. Now in certain federations, they actually don't ask you to put the back of your head against the wall, but in most federations they do. Now your knees have to stay locked. Your feet can't be too far out, so they have to be around 12 inches away from the wall. As far as the curling goes, you have to bring the bar to your chin or clavicle or like throat. You have to bring it very high up, pause for like a quick second, and then you have to lengthen out your elbows, straighten them all the way down, and that's pretty much one rep. So enough about that. As far as the history of the lift, what you have to understand is that powerlifting used to be a lot of odd lifts, and then over time they started narrowing down the sport into fewer and fewer lifts. But the strict curl exercise was actually a candidate for powerlifting meets. It was actually supposed to be one of the power lifts. It was supposed to be kind of like the big four. But over time, people, the judges and like the people who organize powerlifting, they decided they didn't want to put the strict curl in it because one, it's kind of like an isolation lift for the biceps. You can't lift super heavy, so it's not going to add to your total. And they just wanted to narrow down the sport even more. Now in today's world, the big three is pretty much powerlifting: the squat, bench, deadlift. But all around the world, in certain places, you will still find strict curl competitions every now and then. And in some powerlifting federations, they actually do include the strict curl, maybe like before the meet, maybe after the meet. Some meets will actually allow you to do a strict curl only meet. But generally speaking, it's like a lost art. It's not really the most common lift. You see cheat curls all around the gyms, but you rarely see people in commercial gyms or just other gyms in general doing the strict curl where you're against the wall. And one of the reasons why is because it's an extremely hard lift and it's an extremely humbling lift. Okay, so the first benefit of the strict curl is that it's, in my opinion, the best indicator of one's bicep strength because of the 3 points of contact that I talked about. You can't really use crazy leg drive. You can't bounce the weight off your hips. In my opinion, it's 10 times better than the weighted chin up as far as like indicators of strength of the biceps. Because when you're doing weighted chin ups, what you have to take into account is that the lats are doing a lot of the work. Whereas when you're doing the strict curl, it's pretty much a lot of biceps. You're still engaging your core and stuff like that. So technically it's not like the most isolated lift, but you are recruiting a lot of the biceps and you are doing like a very strict lift. It's kind of like a Z press in a way for like the biceps. Another reason why I like this lift a lot is because the loading potential is still pretty high. So it's like you're not using super light weights either. A lot of guys in competitions are doing over 150 on this lift, and it's a strict lift. So it's a strict 150. So when you're doing these cheat curls, where you're bouncing the weight off your hips, or like what I like to call reverse grip cleans, you don't know how much work the biceps are actually doing. But when you're doing a strict curl, on the other hand, with the competition form, and you maybe even like pausing at the top, you know that your biceps did at least 99% of the work. Okay, so some other benefits of the strict curl are that you get really good range of motion. You see, the fact that your limbs are in a vertical fashion means that you can get a full stretch at the bottom, so your arms are fully lengthened, but also for the strict curl to count, you have to bring it up, to your clavicle, throat, or chin. And a lot of people, I'd say most people who curl, they basically bring their fist to like their chest. So they're not getting full activation of the biceps. Whereas if you bring it higher up, like I'm telling you to, you're recruiting more muscle fibers in the biceps, and yes, you are recruiting a bit more front delt, but the trade-off is good because you're getting more bicep involvement and you're training a range of motion that most people don't do. So that's another benefit to the strict curl. Another thing that I like is that it's very comfortable to do low reps, I find, because in the preacher curl video that I dropped a couple weeks back, I mentioned how that's one of the best preacher bicep exercises, but the problem is that when you do low reps with it and you're in the fully lengthened position, it doesn't feel that good on the elbow. So I actually like doing these for low reps, the strict curl. But as far as my programming is concerned, I'm going to have a day where, you know, I'm doing a bit more low reps, so triples, fives, occasional singles. And on the other day, I'm going to be doing higher rep sets, so like, you know, 8s, 10s, and even up to 20. So I'm going to be alternating between variations, you know, easy bar, reverse grip, close grip easy bar, dumbbells, Zotman, whatever. And I'm basically going to try to get good at all variations. And I've also noticed that since I've been doing this exercise for a few weeks, I personally believe that there's a direct correlation between how strong you are at the strict curl and your bicep growth. Now, I haven't seen drastic changes in my biceps because I haven't been doing the lift super long, but I probably have seen like maybe a quarter inch so far. But I believe by the end of the summer, I'm going to have some respectable biceps. And also complement that with the tricep long head. It's going to be crazy. So that's one thing on Fit Will Expose. It's like we're literally going to be breaking down every single muscle group. You know, I'm not just going to limit the audience to back, traps, and delts, you know. We're literally going to be breaking down different muscle groups, and we're going to be going into great detail. I'm going to have a playlist for every single muscle group, and you guys are just going to love it. So I want to know in the comment section below, have you guys ever tried the strict curl exercise? Have you ever heard of it? What are your thoughts about it? Is it your favorite bicep exercise? And I also want you guys to try it out. Give me your feedback. Let me know what you thought about it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.